Tank. He's good at setting traps. Has crazy power that he believes in. He has a great chin too because he's a guy. He'll let you get out punches, and he'll still be coming at you. And then once he catches you, it's a wrap.
All-time greats. Crawford's one of the best switch hitters, I think, since Marvin Hagler, and one of the most skillful boxers alive.
He has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight.
Gervonta Tank Davis is a master at setting traps. He carries explosive knockout power, trusts in his chin, and applies relentless pressure. Even when you land punches on him, Tank keeps coming, waiting for that perfect moment to counter, and once he connects, it's usually lights out. That's the kind of danger Crawford has seen before, but Terence is built differently. Crawford's skill set is rare. Many experts call him the best switch hitter since Marvin. Hagler. His ability to seamlessly fight from both stances, combined with his timing, precision, and high fight IQ, makes him one of the most complete boxers alive today. Errol Spence Jr., who shared the ring with him, admitted he was stunned watching Crawford's current training camp for Canelo.
How hard does Spence hit?
He didn't hit that hard.
But he never caught you that clean. That was probably the best shot he landed.
No, he caught me a couple of times, but I was surprised at how hard he didn't hit.
Really?
Given that everybody say, oh, he's a big puncher, he's this. I think he's just a volume puncher. I think he just wears opponents down, just wear them down. I don't think, he has a one-punch knockout. He have power, but it's not like, boom, sleep. You know what I mean? I think it's like, bam, oh, boom, 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 boom. And then he just wear you down.
Right, yeah. That is a difference, right?
Because if you look at his career, you never seen him, knock nobody out with one punch. You never see him dropping nobody with one punch. You already see him wearing them down. That's why he goes so hard to the body, because he want to wear you down. Then once you get tired and once your body start weakening, everything start weakening. And those little punches that wasn't hurting start hurting.
Canelo Alvarez. The sharpness, footwork, and laser-focused intensity made Crawford look like a monster in motion, a version of Bud that could give any fighter nightmares. Reflecting on his fight with Spence, Crawford described how he methodically breaks down opponents, wearing them out before finishing with devastating flurries. He noted that Spence, despite his reputation, wasn't the one-punch knockout artist people believed, but more of a volume puncher who wears fighters down over time. That distinction matters against Canelo, a fighter who relies heavily on physical pressure and bodywork. Analyst Chris Algieri pointed out that Crawford's dominance stems from control and adaptability, qualities that give him an edge against Canelo.
And Terence Crawford, who do you think can be the boss that night? When you talk about these two guys, you talk about two guys, number one, you can't boss me around.
Yep.
Two guys, you can't even look at me a certain way without me feeling some type of way. These guys now have set their sights on one another, Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, we know the weight difference, but we've seen Crawford, looks like he's coming up slowly to that weight class and kind of acclimating himself in real time. How do you see that fight playing out?
We're still pretty far away from that fight, and I'm going to hold my complete analytics on that. But I'll tell you this.
Contrast and compare, maybe not a pick.
But I'll tell you this. I've seen Canelo pushed around. I've never seen Terence pushed around. So when you're talking about who's going to be the boss, I've never seen anyone boss Terence Crawford. I've seen Canelo get bossed. So that psychologically, when you think about that, and this is a fight where I flip-flop on both guys because there's so many good points. Yeah, but he's 168. Yeah, but it's Terence Crawford. He's undefeated. Well, yeah, no, this guy's beating this, but stylistic. Even he hits him on the arm. There's so many different things you can talk about. But from a psychological standpoint, who's fresher, who's meaner, who wants it more? That's going to come into play.
As a boxing fan, how much fun is it to see those two attitudes come together? It's kind of like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object getting ready to collide.
I've worked a lot of Canelo fights. The Canelo fight weeks are great. He plays to the crowd really well. His fans are awesome. I'm thinking about the Caleb Plant situation. I'm thinking about the Billy's Joe Saunders situation. When he gets When he gets that in his head that, you know, he's got an extra chip, he becomes a really dangerous man.
While Canelo has been bossed before, most notably by Dmitry Bivol, Crawford has never been bullied in the ring. That psychological strength could play a decisive role when these two warriors collide. Max Kellerman broke it down further, highlighting that Crawford currently holds more tactical advantages: speed, precision, defense, and adaptability. While Canelo's size and punching power are undeniable, Kellerman emphasized that Crawford's recent form looks sharper, more dynamic, and more complete. Yet, size cannot be ignored. Crawford is daring to be great by moving up, and at 38 years old, he'll be giving away natural weight and strength to a 35-year-old Canelo. But the decline in Canelo's explosiveness and finishing ability has opened doors for opponents.
Counterpunching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford. Mm-hmm. But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who? I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov. So, and Canelo, though he has not stopped anyone in a while, we've seen he's a real puncher at 68.
As far as speed, who has a better speed?
You would imagine Crawford, given the fact that he is the naturally smaller fighter.
Who can use movement, stamina, and ring IQ. Keith Thurman stressed this, pointing to Canelo's struggles against opponents who refused to stand in front of him. If Charlo could trouble him with movement, Crawford, a far superior technician, could make life even more difficult. Rising prospect Abdullah Mason flipped the narrative, predicting Crawford might shock fans with surprising strength and power at the higher weight. Similarly, Dmitry Bivol, who already defeated Canelo, believes Crawford's skills give him a legitimate chance, though adjusting to the power at 168 will be the true test. Voices from across boxing and beyond are backing Crawford. Michael J. White believes Crawford's speed and
For Canelo, obviously at 168, he has been a bit of the smaller man at that weight class, and in the last couple of years has had trouble finishing opponents and getting guys out of there like he would have at 160 or 154. So you have a bit of a duality there. Both guys coming into this fight in the, let's say, twilight of their careers, or maybe twilight of their primes, however you want to look at it. Canelo is going to be, I think, 35. Terence is 38. So you have a similar situation, different paths, and different struggles for both fighters. But when you look at who has to do more in this fight, it's clearly Terence Crawford, as far as what he's giving up and sacrificing to win this third undisputed championship and to try to beat Canelo, who has only been beat twice in his career, one of which was Floyd Mayweather being slick and tagging Canelo with counter punches when Canelo missed. Seeing the smaller, lighter fighter and up there in age that was still able to take advantage of the youth and experience of Canelo Alvarez, but also just being a defensive maestro and able to counter off of that. Floyd is one of one. And then you have Dmitry Bivol, who was the bigger fighter, and the things that Canelo does very well didn't really hurt him too bad, right? The things that had carried Canelo up in division was his power and the ability to break an opponent down, maybe not stopping them in the early to mid part of fight.
Movement will create a Mayweather-Canelo Part 2. Joe Rogan praised his mentality, work ethic, and legacy-driven mindset, while trainers like Calvin Ford and Robert Garcia acknowledged the courage it takes to accept this challenge and the potential weaknesses in Canelo's evolving, more cautious style. Crawford himself remains calm and confident. He respects Canelo's size and pressure but insists he's ready for every scenario. His mindset is one of calculated risk and total belief, a fighter chasing greatness, knowing this bout could define his place among the all-time greats. Two men. Two legacies. One colossal collision. On September 13th at Allegiant Stadium, the boxing world will find out who truly emerges as the boss, Canelo Alvarez or Terence "Bud" Crawford. Please like and subscribe my YouTube channel.